Hey there, this is Derek from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan, and we're looking at a Nissan Skyline, a 1993 GTR. That comes with an RB26 DETT engine. That's a twin turbo 2.6 liter inline 6-cylinder. This one has 144,000 kilometers. It was bought from auction, and we're going to be shipping this one to Baltimore in the USA. And the owner of this has said that if you want to follow this car, you can check him out with a tag in the description. I'm not going to say it now because I don't know it offhand what the tag is, but you can check it out in the description of the video. You can follow the car. And it's a one owner, auction grade 4 with an interior grade C. And it's quite a good looking Skyline. Finding a good R32 is hard nowadays, that a lot of the stock from Japan is getting depleted, prices are going up. I think that we got a pretty good car here. Obviously it is an over 25-year-old car, so it's going to have some things here and there. But the engine running condition is good. Like a lot of these GTRs, it can be running better with some tune-up, but it's fine. I don't see any problems. Timing belt was changed twice. First at 110,000 kilometers in 2012, and then at 142,000 kilometers in June of this year, actually. June of last year, pardon me, 2019. It's super incredibly dirty in here. That's supposed to be white. But that's kind of one of the worst parts of the car. That and the trunk, I'll show you when we get there. Now looking at the car, it's been repainted, but it was an original white. The whole car has been repainted. It looks stunning with a very, very nice paint on it like that. I'm just going to quickly turn off the engine here. But it has been repainted, and this is the worst of it. You can see that this piece of trim wasn't taken off, and right now the light catches it. You'd be able to file this section here down very carefully so that you could prevent the light from catching that. Switch off the engine. Look at that steering wheel. Okay, so before I do the full walk around of it, I'm just going to go and translate the auction sheet so that you can see the information that was given to us from the auction house at the time of purchase. And so it's a 1993, made in July, Skyline GTR, auction grade 4 with an interior C. Of course, this is 4-wheel drive. I think a lot of people know about this car, but if you don't, or you're new to cars, then the GTRs are rear-wheel drive until it senses slip, and then it sends torque to the front wheels. Very unique at the time. This, yeah, back then that was a very rare thing. It's in a lot of cars nowadays. 144,252 kilometers, 5-speed, only 5 speeds in these. Alloy wheels, power steering, and power windows. It's a one-owner car, and it's fully original, which is super, super rare. Original wheels, suspension, even exhaust. I'll show you the muffler because I almost guarantee that most people have never seen what a stock GTR exhaust looks like, because it's usually the first thing to get replaced on one of these. Shadow exhaust. It's so bright out today and the camera's like, the car is so white, it's hurting my sensor, I guess. Okay, so scuff on the front bumper. Teeny tiny little dent, teeny tiny little scratch, teeny tiny rock chip on there. I think probably the worst part is that section on the top that I mentioned, and the trunk. Owner's manual and warranty papers come with the car, and then here's the report. It says dashboard is deformed and has glue on it. I shall show you when we get inside. Wheels are scraped, various scratches and dents. Exterior has paint repaired, so repaint is what they meant there. Driver's seat wear and ripped, and it's ripped in the normal place that these tend to rip in. And the steering wheel has been repaired. I've never actually seen a repaired steering wheel done by an actual person with actual stitching and real leather on there. It's very cool because I love the steering wheel for these, but when you get them when they're in really good condition, they're soft and squishy. And then after like 10 years, they become hard and brittle and they peel and they look really terrible. But the squishiness of the steering wheel on this one, now that it's been repaired, kind of harkens back to what the car would have felt like when it was a new car. Okay, so let's do the once around here of the car. White is a very rare color for these cars. It's kind of weird because white is an iconic color for them. The racing ones, because these were very popular in racing at the time, the racing ones were white, but for the first few years you couldn't get white. You can only get them on I think the last 2 years of production, so 93 and 94. The GTRs have the widened fenders, front and rear. I'm not sure exactly how wide, but it's, I don't know, maybe 3 centimeters wider, maybe 2. I'm not sure. And the car was made basically for function. They wanted to make a fast version of the Skyline, and so they improved things so that they could win at racing. And there is a homologation version of the car too, with some extra body things. And they do have a racing engine that you could get in the production cars, but it wasn't necessarily together with the Nismo version of the car, which was their homologation special. This one has a plastic insert here. This plastic insert directs more air, or closes off the size of the front radiator, so that, I guess, for better aero purposes. And then this front lip, I believe, is supposed to be gray, but has been painted white. But I don't know. They might have had some body color ones in later models. I could be wrong about that. Okay. Now the thing about the trunk, and to a lesser extent the hood. Now the car hasn't been in an accident, and you can take a look at all of the structural areas. Everything looks to be okay. But the hood and the trunk were removed. I believe this is what the case is. Were removed at the time of repainting, and when they were installed, they weren't lined up 100% good. If you take a look here, you can see it's coming out a little bit, and also the trunk is a little bit loose. So it is my theory that these came off. If you look, actually, let me open up the trunk so that you can see. Hello, steering wheel. And the trunk opener doesn't work on this car. And I've seen that on like probably over 20 of the GTRs that we have exported. It's a very common thing. And here's another common thing. This weather stripping tends to peel. It is on this car. And the seats tend to rip here. Another common thing, because when you sit in it, it wears against this sharp edge here. So that's where the rip is. Oh, there's another one here I just noticed. Back to the interior in a sec. So if you look back here, there have been no alterations to this section here, which is what you would look for an accident repaired vehicle. And if you look underneath here, there is sitting water in there, but there's no signs of any seal work having been done on the inside here. Panels being bent back into shape and such. And the whole car has no rust on it. These days, rusty GTRs are a thing. It is sad. Another common GTR thing. It's funny, you see so many GTRs and you just see the same problems on all of them. Same problems. Not this one. It doesn't have any rust. Okay, so this is fine. Folding mirrors still work. Pop that key out. This is the original GTR key. Sometimes the GTR keys go missing, and it's a shame because these are super awesome. There's actually a Nismo key you could buy directly from Nissan that's the same shape but it says Nismo instead. I've seen a few of those, but I believe that the original GTR keys are actually more, like, worth more. These original seats in it. That one there, the adjustment for forward and back doesn't work. And you spin it with this, so you can see how that works. I can put this back so that they match. That's a pet peeve of mine, seats that don't match from passenger to driver. I don't know why. And pilling on the bottom cushion here. No bad smells inside, but it does smell kind of like a car that's been sitting for a while. And my feeling is that this car was used a lot when it was more on the new side. And then it was just kind of like a second car and wasn't driven very much for a while. And then it may have sat for a bit before it got sold. And then the car faded in that time because they weren't upkeeping it. And then that's why they did the repaint right before selling. We got cracks in that. Here's a better look of the steering wheel. And if you look in here, you can see how they went to copy the original way that it is stitched and then glued in this section. And I think they did a pretty good job. And it's still squishy. This is a turbo timer that leaves the engine running for a bit after the engine stops. We've got some deformation of the dashboard here and here. Unfortunately, almost all the dashboards are like that now, so it's just a quirk you have to get used to if you want an otherwise fantastic car like a GTR. Some of these are broken. This one, there, you know, the dashboard will bend and will crush those from the deformation of the dashboard, and a lot of them break. The AC works, aftermarket CD player here. This is an original shift knob that has been replaced. Okay. Back seats. Now the driver's seat doesn't slide, so it's a little bit harder to get in the driver's side. The passenger one does. These back seats look fine. Headliner. And I just noticed this. I didn't notice when I was looking at it, but there's some deformation in the C pillar trim. And there in the B pillar trim. And yeah, that's going to be the same on this side as well. Okay. And I think that's basically everything that I need to say in this report, and so we're going to leave it at that. If you're interested in importing cars, of course, check out our website. Make sure to check out also the description of this for the tag. I don't know if it's Instagram or what. I suspect it would be, but go check that out. And thank you everyone for watching, and have a nice day.